I'm Sherry Corden, and I was the firstborn child, firstborn granddaughter, and I was an only child for 7 years. And I'm selfish. And not so much with things, but I'm very selfish with my inner peace, and I'm very selfish also with my time. So my story is everything about what I am not. It is about how God has placed in beside me, in front of me, and behind me, the saints of First Presbyterian Church, one right after the other. And I'm going to tell you how I got here. After on the very first day of classes at the University of Tennessee, I met my former husband. And we fell deeply in love. And at the end of that year, we got married. We eloped to the displeasure of everyone we knew except the two of us. And I worked full time and went to school part time. And he went to school full time and worked part time. And in 3 years, he graduated and we started our family. Had my son. And I was a stay-at-home mom. And then our daughter was born and she was a stay-at-home mom. I was a stay-at-home mom. And I could begin to see when I got upper elementary school that I might be a bit of an overbearing mother. So I thought I need to find myself something to do that I can focus on and something I would enjoy. And truthfully, I also was thinking about this time, I might not stay married a lot longer. So what could I do? I went back to school because I'd been a volunteer in schools and I thought, I could do this and I think I would like it. So I went back to get certified to teach, and who did I meet but Jane Lou? And she was she was recently divorced. I wasn't at that time, but she was recently divorced, and we became, fast friends. So I got my certificate, and I started teaching at Rocky Hill School, and Jane finished her master's degree, I think, the next semester, and there was an opening, and so pulled Jane right in, and we got to teach together, too. So I love teaching, and I really did not know that I would, but I loved it, and it just came so naturally to me, and it really filled me up. I was so very thankful for that gift of loving children and loving teaching. I loved every minute of it. And then, as I suspected, I did decide to end my marriage, and I got a divorce. Well, both my children were in college now. One was a freshman, one was a junior, and I'd never been on my own. I mean, after my first year of college, I got married. So here I was, and I knew I needed something. I mean, I needed to know how to survive. Teachers are not well paid. So I knew that I needed something, and Jane Lake said, "You need to come to church with me." And I didn't think it's too far. But you know what? I'll just kind of pick it up. And she did. She came and picked me up, and she brought me to First Presbyterian Church. And she said, "Now, what we are going to have to do is you are going to have to go into Raymond McCord's class and help me because I'm helping him, and then you need to help me." So that's how I met Raymond McCord. So Jane started it, and then one right after the other, I'm going to name people that got put right in my pathway. So I loved doing that, and I did not realize, Raymond is so sweet and kind and good, and I had been Mrs. Corden for quite some time in my kindergarten classroom, so when I came to be Miss Sherry, I could not let that Mrs. Corden thing go, and I thought Raymond and I were just doing fabulously, and later, about a year went by, and Raymond said, "I wasn't sure how this was going to work out." And I can't remember what kind of words he used, but in other words, I was like, "You get up there and sit down because it's story time." And he was like, "Oh, we're going to story time." And we really showed each other's talents. So that was the beginning. And I also made a wonderful friend in Kay Conger there. Because, I remember I was newly divorced, and she was there to support me if I had anything, that I was concerned about. Kay was right there with me. But that was it. That's all I did. Came to Sunday school, and I sat in the sanctuary, and I was filled. But that did not suit Jane. But she would say, "Oh, you're sitting here and filling up, but you're really not doing much." And I didn't care. I just really thought, this is it, girl. That's all I've got. That's all I got.
Don't forget the part about I like sitting in this pew right here.
Yes.
The name for people like you, pew sitters.
Yes, you did name me. So, but once again, I'm selfish. I just didn't care. I thought, you know what? This is it. This is what I have. And I'm going to say in my defense that I believe that's what the Lord had in mind for me right then. Because then I retired. And just a few weeks later, I'm sitting in a pew and I was praying and I said, Lord, you have gifted me with a love for children and a love for teaching. You've given me a career that I truly do love. And now I get to retire. I get to retire. And you have brought me and both of my children through a divorce unscathed and pretty much happy. And I'm so thankful. And Lord, just tell me what you want me to do. Just tell me. And let me tell you, it was within minutes. I had not even had time to gather up my things after the service when here comes Craig Risberg. And he said, we have had a meeting and we would like for you to consider being a deacon. Well, I didn't know the responsibilities of a deacon and I had no desire to learn what they were. But I mean, I could just sit there and I mean, please, Lord, show me what to do. What? I mean, how could you not say, well, yes. I mean, that really, I just don't think I could have done it at all. So I did say yes. And I guess after the floodgates opened and I began to make so many friendships. And I think the Lord began to put people in my path. And first of all, Raymond had embraced my classroom management skills. So him and Sharon were having a little issue with a lot of excess bathroom going on Wednesday nights. So they asked me in classroom management. And so then I got acquainted with Miss Sharon and the children, the young saints of First Presbyterian Church. They can suck you right in if you give them time. And because I was in the nursery, then I became acquainted with Colleen and Lauren. And they were, of course, foreign missions people. So then they bring the Congolese family, And Colleen said, knowing that I was a retired teacher, could you work with BK? Just go once a week to the class and, tutor him in the classroom. Just do what they asked you. And I said, well, sure, I can do that. And then Akila comes to town. And that's when I met Becky Horshus and Susan Garland. And those two people were so good-hearted and cheerful and kind and giving and so unselfish that they just, took me by the hair of the head and dragged me right into the middle of it. And I would be in situations where I would think, how in the world did I get here? This is not me. I just couldn't believe some of the things that happened. And the only way I could explain it was, the Lord has brought me here. The Lord has brought me here through all these people that He has put in my way. I've just never seen any two people do any harder work than Susan and Becky and be just totally delighted about doing it. And then right along with them were Gary and Paula Anderson, Jane Armstrong, Celeste Whaley, Carolyn Noe, Sherry Pender, Sherry Allison, and all the Sunday school teachers. They just bought into those children and filled them up like you wouldn't believe. And all the people that cooked on Wednesday nights. Gary and I were just talking about how Akili loved the food on Wednesday nights. And then, where does the Lord place those two children in school? But here in elementary, where my grandchildren went to school. So this brings in my daughter and my grandchildren, Spencer. And I only got 2 minutes left. And I think working with them, buddy, did I grow with that, listening to them. I really did grow, working with being, just got me all out. Colleen said, we need an educational power of attorney. And she didn't even ask me to do it. I just said, well, I can do that. And I did. And that's where I grew and learned so much. And with talking and seeing all the red tape things, along with the conversations with Mark Calsert and Sarah Duggar, I think that's what's got me involved in Justice Knox. And Mary Wilson's son, William, he delivered on Christmas morning all the Santa Claus packages for the entire family, including a letter written to the children in Swahili. Oh, wow. Now, when Keely's family decided to leave, it was literally a miracle. And if you want to know about it, I'll tell you later because I'm gonna have to leave. But I, through a miracle, got in touch with Dr. John Palmer, who called me here on a Wednesday night. And I told him the story, and the very next morning, he sent me pictures of himself, his wife, and all of the family. And he took those children that we had held so dearly, and he is to this day carrying on with that. I guess I'm just going to stop right here.